Hello there, fellow grognards. It's Al here, and I'm here with Matt. Hello, Matt.
Hello.
Hello. It's time for another episode of C.H.E.B.S, Matt. It's time for another pair of tits chatting hobby, endless bollocks, and stuff. Because a few things have happened, news-wise. So we've got a few things to discuss. But other than that, how's you been, man? You got a bit of hobby in the other day, didn't you? A bit of Kill Team.
Yes, for the first time, played the latest version of Kill Team, which was good fun, actually. Now that all the funny shapes and stuff have gone, instead of having, numbers.
Yes, numbers, which are pretty universal, let's face it.
The Arabs did a pretty decent job inventing them. So,
Indeed. Well, you played a bit of Kill Team. It was fun, yeah.
Yeah. It was me, Gribbly, Dave, and Farmer Neil. I got there later than the other guys, but so they'd already set up with Death Guard versus Primaris. I think they had
just the starter set then, yeah,
because we'd never played it, so we weren't really too sure what to expect. So they kind of went with the more straightforward forces. So that was cool, and I just sat there just painting up the last few bits on my Vespid Kill Team.
Okay, cool.
And then once they finished, then I switched out, and I think it was me versus Dave, and he switched from Death Guard to Primaris Marines, and I used my Vespid. But we weren't using stratagems or anything like that, and I got absolutely pwned because even though I had almost twice as many models, when those models have got way less wounds and just a 5+ save, they tend to just get wrecked. So you have to be really careful with model placement and stuff like that. But as a separate game, I'm quite happy with how simple it is compared to like Necromunda or the old 40k. I kind of wish that 40k was more complicated than that, but we won't get onto that subject. But no, Kill Team, it's all good. I'm hammering through rosters on Battlescribe for the guys to pick and choose models from. It's all good. I even dug out my some of my others that have been just on the sprue recently, and I've put them together. So I need to try and find time to paint them, and might actually find some time to do more gaming for a change.
Yeah, I mean, getting some gaming in is always good, isn't it? At the end of the day, so you can't really complain about that. Awesome. Well, that sounds pretty cool, man. I played some Space Hulk today down at Warhammer World with Carl. That was awesome.
I noticed.
Not played Space Hulk in many a moon. So that was fun. It was it's just pure simplicity in game design. No fucking about. You go on Overwatch, you shoot, you hit on 5s and 6s, boom, done. Jitters eviscerate you. In combat the way it should be. So yeah, it was awesome. We did a survival mission first, and I beat that, got rid of all his blips, and then we did the suicide mission, and it went horribly wrong.
Yeah, Gene Stealers have like an innate advantage on Space Hulk, even before you factor in the time restraint.
The thing is, like, the suicide mission map was large, so I could set up lines of fire, and he just never even got close to me in the end. But the suicide mission is quite a small map, so you just get quite royally murdered.
Yeah, it's a really weird combination of needing to move really quick and being very careful with where you put your dudes for lines of fire, because if you leave it too long, you get too many blips and you can't deal with them.
Yeah, exactly.
Whereas if you rush through, then don't cover your guys properly and you get wrecked.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, that was pretty hectic all round, but it was good. It was good. Nice to play some games. Got down to Warhammer World at the Bugmans, and it was pretty cool. Just chilling out with Carl and his missus Kimmy. So that was nice.
Yeah, they're good people. I like them.
Indeed. And then other than that, Gene Stealer. Space Hulk and Brian. Other than that, GW showed some stuff off. So first of all, we've got a Necromunda model, as is traditional.
Very odd.
Doesn't really look like he's from Necromunda, does he?
It really doesn't. It looks like an AOS model that they've kind of gone, we'll just stick this into Necromunda, it'll be fine.
Yeah, like, he wouldn't be... There's not really anything about him that wouldn't work in the old world, even.
No.
In an Empire army or something. It's quite interesting. As I say, at the very least, multi-purpose. Doesn't seem to have any guns or anything, so...
No, the weird thing is, looking at this model, the word versatile is not the one that immediately springs to mind.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just really weird.
Yes, it is.
Really weird little model they've done, but yeah, it's just kind of cool. If you want another little Necromunda model, he's there. There for those that want to buy.
It's not a bad model. It's
No,
just
it looks fine. It's
just
not really very 40k.
But at the same time, is very 40k, but isn't.
Yeah.
It's I think the best thing to say is it's.
I mean, this is like a redemptionist's cowl and everything, isn't it?
Yeah, I'd say it's
very odd.
Potentially very Necromunda, while also not being very what you'd think of Necromunda at all.
Yeah, it's a little weird, but it's nice to see. And other than that, I didn't realise, but on the Saturday, the reason they showed something off on Saturday was it was the Warhammer World Open Day, which I did not go to because it would have been swarming with people, and fuck that.
I had no idea.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. And they showed off the Blood and Zeal box, which I did a video on.
Was that it? Just one thing?
We might as well have a look at that. That's what it showed off, yeah.
Fair enough.
So, yeah, I thought we might as well have a look at that as well. So we've got the Confessor, or the Bishop of Bath and Wells, as I said.
It is the baby eating Bishop of Bath and Wells, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
It's like bend over, Blackadder, it's poker time.
Yeah, it's just awesome. Yeah, very cool. A cherub who I've decided that that's Mike, that's Mini Mike, because it looks nearly exactly like him. And then you've got the Confaglator, which is okay. They've all got a bit, like, their faces are a bit weird.
Cad in it.
I just don't think GW can do good faces, but that one's it's a right model with his twin flamers there.
Twin hand flamers, yeah. I was like, oh, very Blood Angels.
Toasty, you know. And then we've got the two missionaries. These are probably my favourite models in the set, I think.
They've actually done
really nice.
Some nice paintwork on the flames there.
Yeah. Well, I don't like flame effects on my models anyway. I mean, I just think they're nice sculpts. Simple as that.
Yeah.
I think they are probably my favourites in the box. Then sadly we got that. Now, I know that you want to get rid of all the sexy ladies, GW, but that is not a Death Cult Assassin. I'm sorry, ladies. What the fuck have you done? There is nothing 40k about that at all. That looks as generic sci-fi as you can possibly get. Like, it's nothing like John Blanche's original concept sketches. That's an insult. I really don't like that at all. I think they've taken every single little bit of flavour and coolness about Death Cult Assassins and got rid of it. So yeah, not a fan of that one. But this one, I said when I saw the model on Saturday that it reminded me of a character, and I thought his name was Joseph. And I was right. It was one of the old 54mm Inquisitor characters.
Yeah.
That they've done in plastic. So they've done a few of them now, because the Catachin guy from the Inquisition retinue box is that as well. And obviously you've had Artemis and stuff like that. So that's pretty cool. He's even got the same box and everything. So that one's quite nice.
The Relic Head box.
Yep. You've got a Persecutor and a Salvationist. They're both kind of cool. They actually look more.
I like the creepy. I like the creepy black mask on the Salvationist.
Yeah. It's pretty awesome. And then you got these two, and these two, I think these are the ones that I'm not really fussed about as well. But it's got a little nice relic box, and he just looks.
It just looks funny.
Yeah, I don't know what I can get away with saying on YouTube, unfortunately.
It's proper making me chuckle. That face.
For some reason, when I see that, all I can think of is Matt Damon. But yeah, he's got a
I'm trying to work out what it is. It might be someone from Innsmouth.
Yes, it's the Innsmouth look, isn't it? Yeah.
And the Mirror Cultist looks actually quite creepy. Like, and then I've actually looked at it properly. I'm like, oh wow, they even put like a little bit of gore on the nailed.
The stigmata type things. I don't like it. I think that's pretty awful, to be honest. That Miraculous. I think that's, again, one of the weak ones out of the box. But, 7 out of 10 ain't bad, so Meatloaf sang. I'm pretty sure that's how it went.
So like I said to you the other day, I'm not really up for the religious angle of the Imperium in 40k. I mean, I've got a sister's army mostly to honour my late mother because she was quite religious.
Yeah.
But these guys kind of took me by surprise. I was like, oh, these guys look kind of cool.
Yeah, I mean, I really like this guy. C.H.E.B.S.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's all right. It looks very, very caddy.
It's a prod.
This one's all right. Yeah, it's got a little cattle prod.
little aggro cherub.
These two are awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, these two are close to like they're £25 models in my opinion. They look really nice.
I've got to say though, feel sorry for that guy lugging around a plasma gun on a fucking rope on the shoulder.
He's going to get some rope burn.
That's got to be a killer. It's got to be so heavy.
Yeah, he's well hard. Look at him. He's fine.
No,
Joseph's cool. That's cool. That's cool. These last two I can take or leave it. That'd be fine with a head swap. Get rid of the Innsmouth face. I can't get past that now. But yeah, I mean, they're not bad. They're okay. What I am wondering is how much they'll be when they release them separately, because the Inquisitor box only comes with 6. Admittedly, some of them are dual builds, and it's like 35 quid. So
yeah, I think that's the standard going rate for a team, regardless of the models in it.
So no, I mean they're like 40. I mean, like the Striker Scorpions are 10, and they're 45 quid. So really? I'm expecting to see this in at 45 now. Which makes me think like maybe I should just get the box and get rid of these shitty core models, because I hate these.
These are not great at all.
Why can't you get corn right?
They
just look. They're a pizza cutter, all edge, no point.
Yeah, I don't mind the Blood Herald so much, just simply because the top end looks like it's replicating a blood letter, and I think that's kind of clever.
Yeah, he's kind of got a skull taker thing going on, hasn't he?
Yeah.
Like, why is this just some shitty fucking... Why is this not an actual severed head dripping gore? Come on, GW, this PG-13 bollocks is really getting a bit safe and sad, and it's just boring. There's nothing scary about these guys in the slightest. They look terrible, I'm sorry. Like Dark Mechanicum, I could see doing this, replacing the limbs with metal things to get to the enemy quicker or something like that. But Khorne? It's just awful. They just look terrible. You've got Lady One there and she looks shit, and yeah, I don't think these are good at all. They've all got different names because of course they have. So yeah, not a fan of those. I don't know what you think, Matt, but I think these are pretty weak. You get 8 of them, which is Khorne's number. That's pretty cool, but yeah, pretty weak overall.
I think we should talk about how damn how good the statue looks. I was quite taken by surprise.
Continuing down, the scenery was in a high point. The statue's very nice. That adds a nice bit of value to it. And then it looks like you get... Is it just the statue, or... Yes, it is just the statue. Now, I wasn't sure, because in the picture up here, it had... Or was it in the video?
I mean, look at the size of the models. That's a pretty hefty statue.
So you see those?
Wouldn't surprise me if that was a good number of sprues by itself.
Go away. So you see those? I wasn't sure if you got those as well, especially seeing as they were on them, but you obviously don't. It's just the statue. There is a nice statue though. I mean, I could see myself getting this. It's going to be hopefully the 80 quid mark. Get it from discounter if you can. It'll go down a little bit to like 60 something.
Yeah, I think the only thing I'd probably use the Khorne models for is if I'm teaming up with a mate and going against like the AI kind of thing where you need an opposition team.
Oh right, yeah. I mean, honestly, I think I'd just sell the Khorne set. I don't think I'd even want to put them together. I think they're horrible. Maybe convert them into looking. If you get rid of the top half and you maybe convert them like to something Mechanicum or something like that might work. But I think they're awful. I think most of the Khorne stuff is just terrible because they won't embrace it properly. Like Khorne should just be looking like your worst nightmare heading towards you. I fucking just burst out laughing.
Then that should look like your worst and best nightmare coming towards you.
Yeah, indeed. But no, the statue is pretty cool. I do quite like the statue. It's a bit weird how she's wearing a power armoured corset and nothing down below though. That's a little bit odd.
She might be on holiday.
But yeah, it's quite nice if it's available, because it'll probably sell out real quick because the Kill Team stuff tends to. Like the Emperor's Children sold out in like 2 minutes.
Yeah, but that's Emperor's Children on it. It's a bit of a different league.
Yeah, it's not bad. Well, I think the last Kill Team one with the halflings in it sold out. so that disappeared. But while we're talking about prices, I have some rough prices for the goblins that are coming this week.
Okay.
So obviously we know this is 37 quid, because that's just how much they are now. This I don't actually have a price for. These guys are not too bad. They're going to be about 28, 30 quid, which, I mean, isn't great, but compared to some prices, it's one of those weird things where you're like, that sounds okay, but it's not. It's not really, but it just is compared to everything else.
Yeah. For
This guy is like 65 quid.
What?
Yeah, I think it was $100, if I remember correctly.
I suspect there's probably more bits to that than it seems on first glance. That's
you would hope so. There's the optional build. But I mean, and the mad thing about this is you get one of those for $100, two of these for $92.
What? That's because the snow bosses you can only buy one of in your army, I assume.
Yeah, I don't care. I'm just going to convert it, Matt. I'm going to take these. I'm going to take these guys off. I'm going to put a boss on it, and there's my. And I can just make a boss pole out of anything. That's just ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean, I only gave these like a cursory glance.
No, I didn't like them at all. I
don't get on with goblins whatsoever.
I didn't think they were very good at all. But yeah, this is crazy. And then these are like 40 quid because obviously they're a little bit bigger than the goblin ones down here. So they're $60, which come out around about 40 quid or 45 or whatever, depending on what the exchange rate is.
Black metal goblin cavalry.
And then this one is $110.
It does look pretty chunky though.
Which is
that's a big base, a big base.
Just a tiny bit less than the Triumph of St. Catherine. So around about 70 quid.
Yeah, I reckon that's probably a nice size base.
Yeah, it could be. But I'm wondering how many points it is. I'm wondering even these. I'm wondering how many points these are, because they're like 30 quid, and if they're like 15 points each, you're getting close to £1 a point. You know what I mean? This one is probably as well.
I don't really. I've never paid any attention to points in AOS and don't play it, so I can't.
Does it actually use points? It might not even use points. You know, I don't know.
I remember there being a general's handbook when I was kind of considering it, and that had the points and stuff in it. But you know, it's Games Workshop these days, isn't it? So the points might just be online and whatever they feel like setting them to that month. I don't know.
Or points scare off the 8-year-olds. So and then Warhammer, you finally got a new animation coming, and it's more Black Talon. So yay.
Yeah, that number's an arithmetic. How complicated?
Exactly. Tables. No, sir. No, sorry.
The only table you should have is the one that you play our games on.
Indeed. So that's most of the news that's been going on. Apparently, we're going to see some Horus Heresy at Adepticon, which would be nice.
When is that?
It's like 25th of March, I think.
Okay, so like 2 weeks, sort of.
Yeah. It's basically in between my wedding and my honeymoon. So.
Oh, you little show off.
Yeah, it's actually the Switch 2 Direct is while we're on our honeymoon, and I'm like, we're going to be in Greece, and I'm going to be jonesing, and going to be like, I want to watch the Nintendo Direct for the Switch 2, but I can't. It could be the shortest marriage ever. I don't know. Kirsty's pretty understanding. She might be okay, but
understanding.
She is pretty understanding, especially when it comes to video games, and video games is the subject for this week's C.H.E.B.S.
Truth.
See how I segued that? Yeah, like a boss. And we're going to discuss our top 5 Warhammer video games, because we haven't really discussed video games. I want to get into it in a lot more detail at some point, but it occurred to me today there's an awful lot I've not actually played that I need to play before I can really, So I thought we'll go over the ones that we are familiar with, and we'll talk about those. And then after that, we're going to go play some V Rising, which is the game we're playing at the moment, which is like Diablo, but with a vampire and base building or castle building. And it's lots of fun.
It's very good.
So yeah, I'll let you start off at first of all with number 5. What would your number 5 all-time Warhammer video game be?
Okay.
There's no point in starting off at number 1, because that's just,
no.
We've got to build up the suspense. We need the people to be on tenterhooks and all that kind of stuff.
How professional. My number 5 was actually 2. joint together?
So it begins. Go on then.
Because I couldn't decide. It was Vermintide 2 tied with Mechanicus.
Two very, 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 very different games there.
Yeah. But I enjoyed them both.
Play nothing like each other at all. No, Vermintide 2 was a lot of fun. For the uninitiated, Vermintide 2 is basically a Left 4 Dead reskin.
Yeah.
It's pretty much exactly what it is. Valve invented something with Left 4 Dead, and lots of different companies have taken it and run with it. The World War Z game that I'm playing at the moment is basically a Left 4 Dead reskin with a few extra ideas thrown in. So Vermintide's fun. Yeah, lots of fun with friends.
Yes, it's got a good sense of humour running through it as well. But then again, it's the old world, so it is quite known for having.
Exactly. I mean, I always play as the witch hunter.
Always. The way the characters interact in that game is great.
Grumpy dude.
Too funny.
Vermintide 2 is a very good game. It's quite cheap now on Steam, if I remember correctly. I'd always be up for playing some Vermintide. It's great, and it is just like Left 4 Dead. You know, suddenly rather than a Hulk zombie turning up, you get like a rat ogre instead. It's like, oh fuck.
Yes.
It looks good. It plays well. It's not. I will say that Vermintide 2 did not make my top 5. It would be like number 6 or 7. It's just outside. So your other one was Mechanicus,
which is great. If you love like turn-based action point kind of strategy pew games with a light hint of exploration, it's great. The soundtrack is one of the best soundtracks for any Warhammer game ever.
It has got a very good soundtrack. It is, as you say, a turn-based strategy game.
Yeah,
I was very much enjoying it up until I got to the Destroyer Lord, and I can't get past him. And I must have tried like 50 times, and he just wrecks me every single time. So I just got fed up with it.
Absolute bastard. But yeah, as Carl said, like the Mechanicus may be the only game that they actually had to invent a game for to go with the soundtrack.
Yes, yeah.
Which made me laugh. Absolutely great. Plus, I love Mechanicum stuff anyway. So any excuse to play as my cog boys on there.
Yeah, cool. Okay. Yeah, no, they're pretty good choices. My number 5 game is Bolt Gun.
Aha! Nice. It didn't make my list.
I really enjoyed Bolt Gun. It just took me back to that time where you just ran around shooting stuff, and that was it. That was the game. There's a little bit of platforming in Bolt Gun, which gave me a little bit of a Forrest Whitaker eye, because I was like, platforming in a first-person shooter, you what? But in general, the actual just gunplay of Bolt Gun is just so much fun, especially when you're like just disintegrating people, and it's all pixelated, and it's a boomer shooter and all that kind of stuff. And I was just like, oh man,
no, it's not a boomer shooter, right? Boomers are like in their 60s and 70s. They're baby boomers from the Second World War. This is a bullshit term. I refuse to accept it.
It's a boomer shooter. It's called a boomer shooter.
Stop that.
Even if it is inaccurate. But yeah, it's great. It is just basically Warhammer 40,000 Doom.
And a massive shout out to Rahul Kohli for doing the voice for the Marine in it.
Yes, yeah.
He is great in most things that he's in. Well, actually, no, he's pretty much great in everything that he's in. I thoroughly enjoy watching that chat work.
No, it's an awesome game. Lots of fun. Pretty cheap now. Bit of DLC in it. Very pixelated. Very old school sprites. I mean, it is just 40k Doom, but there's like little secrets here and there to find, and it's lots and lots of killing of all sorts of things. Demons, Chaos Marines, cultists, all sorts turns up, including greater demons, which are hard as fuck to kill. And
as they should be.
Yeah. And I'm going to have footage overlaid in all of this as well, so that people can see, the games that we're talking about as well. And Bolt Gun is a hell of a lot of fun. So that is my number 5. What is your number 4, Matt?
My number 4 was Space Hulk Deathwing.
Okay, yeah, Space Hulk Deathwing.
So, if the game had more polish and was slightly less buggy when it came to multiplayer and stuff, it would have been higher in my list, because Deathwing and my Marines absolutely love stomping around as a Terminator. The weight felt good. The weapons felt great.
The one thing I would say about Deathwing I really liked is visually and feel-wise, it was nearly perfect.
Oh yeah,
It
absolutely
literally felt like stomping around a space hulk. I was like, this is so fucking great. And the way that the gene stealers come at you and everything, I was just like, oh, this is awesome. Because I remember playing like the old PlayStation game of Space Hulk. You know?
I do as well. I suspect that was one of the several that got released very early on the PC, and it was a bastard.
And yeah, I mean, it was just great. I loved Deathwing, but it wouldn't quite make my top 5. In general, as you say, there was a lack of polish, and there was also a severe lack of signposting. There was one time that I was stuck for absolutely ages until it turned out I could have just cut through the door. Nobody told me. So I literally stomped over the entire level for hours, and it takes a lot for me to watch a walkthrough video.
Yeah.
And naughty words were said when the guy just literally walked up to the Black Templar door and just cut it open. And I was like,
just carve through it with a chain fist.
Cunt. But yes, other than that, Deathwing is a lot of fun. I really like the fact they put hybrids in it as well.
Yes.
You know,
finally,
not just pure strains. And they made up loads of bollocks, different types of pure strains and stuff. Which is fair
there was
enough.
a few.
You had exploding pure strains and poisonous pure strains and invisible gene stealers. Yes, thanks very much for that.
Well done.
But it was cool to see the hybrids, and there was absolutely loads of them. Like they'd infested a Space Hulk. So, and you really did feel like you was up against it because it was just you and your two squad mates, and you had to look after them.
Not even a full squad.
Yeah, no, you didn't even get a full squad. It's a fun little game. A little bit of a lack of polish and just general.
Yeah. It's so weird. It's like one team in it went all out. Like the guys that actually did all the level design and the graphics and all the in-game stuff just went absolutely all out. And like you could literally walk up to a purity seal on the wall and zoom in with your targeter and read it. That's the level of detail in the game. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
But then you bring up like the HUD and the map, and it's just like, what the fuck am I looking at?
Yes, exactly. Yeah, that was my problem. I was bringing up the map, and I was just like, how do I get to this place? Because it looks like I should be able to on the map.
It's just crap.
But I can't. yeah, it was horrific.
Yeah, it's like the main menu for the game and the map is crap. But like the UI is crap, but the actual in-game gameplay and the visuals are fantastic.
Yeah, it was horrific to negotiate. It really was. Okay, cool. Yeah. Well, number 4 is Dawn of War.
4?
2.
Carry on.
I like Dawn of War 2 quite a bit. It obviously mixed up the formula a hell of a lot, because it was more of like a hero squad based shooter where you had just a few dudes and you didn't build up an army. There was no like sort of base building and stuff. You just went out and did missions. But I really liked it. It was a lot of fun. I played all the way through the first game, and I think it was Kaz Rising, the expansion.
Yep, that's the one. Yeah. And there was an Inquisitor one as well.
I don't think I played the Inquisitor one. I probably need to go back and do that. But I really enjoyed it. I loved the fact that you got to level up your dude. And that, to me, was just like, awesome. That was kind of not what was missing from Dawn of War 1, but
it was just an alternative way of playing it.
An alternative way of playing it, yeah, exactly. It just got me that little bit more invested, and it just added a teeny bit of sort of RPG-ness to it, and stuff like that. And I thought that was great. So even though quite a few people didn't like it, I thought Dawn of War 2 was a perfectly worthy alternative, because it's not the same game. It's not even like a better version of the same game.
I liked it for what it was, considering that they switched and they were using the Company of Heroes game engine, which I played a lot of Company of Heroes 1 and 2 back in the day. So I was perfectly at home with the cover system and how everything worked in that. Some of the choices in it maybe raised an eyebrow a little bit, and they were kind of like, you can choose from your Marine HQs. You've got your captain, and then you've got your ever authoritative apothecary, and then a tech marine. And I'm like, what the fuck are you doing here?
It took some liberties with the lore, but let's face it, it's the Blood Ravens. They're not a real Space Marine chapter anyway.
They're really not. I'll die on that hill. They're not a real Space Marine chapter. I don't care. Okay, workshops.
But I enjoyed it enough when I played it, and I just generally, I thought it was pretty good.
It was good. Another thing that I did like with Dawn of War 2 is I'm certain that it came as part of the Inquisition like expansion, was they added in an arena game where you just fight off waves of incoming stuff like Tyranids, I think.
Oh, okay. I don't think I got to that stage, but
in an arena, and one of the command, because you just basically take a commander and you just try and survive.
Okay, cool.
Using the abilities and stuff that you've got, and you level up and things like that. And one of them was like a Tau Crisis Suit commander, which was a very nice touch.
Oh, cool.
Considering they're not in the game at all.
I'll have to dig it out again and have a play at some point.
Yeah,
I really did enjoy it. It's been a long time since I played it. A long time. What is your number 3?
My number 3 was the Total War Warhammer games, all bundled together, 1 to 3.
Yep,
the same
fair
platform,
enough.
really. So.
Yep, seeing as it's iterative of the same game, yeah, it seems fair enough. They have made GW so much money, and probably single-handedly showed GW that there was still value in the old world.
Yeah, as they should have. They were great. Thoroughly enjoyed them.
You know, so I think that's fair enough. I think they were. So I'm just bumping your volume down just a little bit because it's going into the orange and the red, and I'm like, how is this going to sound when I put it over in your video editor? You might become like Brian Blessed all of a sudden.
Sir, you flatter me.
I think it's probably one of the most prestigious games. I mean, it's one of the ones that like Henry Cavill plays and all that kind of stuff, and most people play. And it's a venerable series that's been added to with a GW branding. And I remember seeing just like the intro videos and stuff like that, the cinematics, and they're just amazing.
Oh yeah, they're fantastic. But sorry, I'm sitting there giggling to myself because now all I'm thinking about is on your stag do when we lost you, and it's like Alan's alive. And the next day,
reports of my death were slightly exaggerated. I have no memory. I have no memory of those hours just waking up in hospital. That's all.
At least you got your hoodie back, so you weren't mugged for that.
No, it's a miracle. Yeah, I can believe that.
Absolutely baffling. Yeah.
Crazy times. Right, my number 3 is Final Liberation.
You know what? That made my honourable mentions list. I absolutely loved that game. Absolutely loved it.
Final Liberation. I was way into Epic at the time. All about Titans, all that crap.
Yep.
This didn't exist in 40k back then. There was no knights. There was none of that. You couldn't even use like the bigger vehicles and stuff. You couldn't have great big armies in 40k because they just didn't work. And there was no apocalypse. This would have been 2nd edition.
Yeah.
And Final Liberation just gave me a chance to just use these massive armies and Titans and just wreck shit. And it was great.
It really was, yeah.
I'd love to see a Horus Heresy update for it, actually. I think it'd be amazing.
That would be fantastic. I'm going to stick that on my games that I want made list.
Exactly.
Along with a Tau Battlesuit squad game.
Well, we will be doing a video on video games that we would make because I've got a couple that I think would be amazing and should be done.
Well, that's next week sorted.
So that may well be next week before we get stuck into the 2nd edition retrospectives, unless anything happens in the meantime that causes us to hate or love GW anymore. But Final Liberation. It's on Good Old Games. Check it out, guys. It's crude, Definitely. It's clunky, it's old, but it's so much fun.
It's probably older than a lot of people who play 40k now, but it's it's awesome.
It's a hell of a lot of fun. So definitely recommend checking it out. I'm pretty sure it's still on there, and I'm pretty sure it's about $5. So cool. That was my number 3.
What a bargain.
Yeah, exactly. What was your number 2?
Space Marine 2.
Okay, Space Marine 2. Cool, very good game. Very good. Loads of polish, lots of fun. Bit samey after a while, but while it's fresh and fun, it is massive, fresh and fun.
Oh, yeah. I think Saber did a damn good job considering the budget they had. It's very, very, very good. I mean, you just go in there as a Space Marine and just wreck face. I think you take a damage a little bit too easily to feel exactly like a massive Primaris power armored god, but like the swarms and the engine and everything in it and the way it looks and just the general gameplay, I think is very, very, very good. I've got to say that last time we played it, the speed of a Biovor's movement
That was a
took
bit
me
weird.
very much by surprise. I was like, "What the fuck?"
Scuttle, scuttle, scuttle at the speed of light. It was like, hang on.
Yeah, I'm like, I'd expect a Pyrovore to maybe be that quick, just to absolutely fucking terrify you before it
Yeah,
douses
yeah.
flame. But a Biovore was a bit like, don't know. But
Like,
thanks for putting them in. They look cool.
You'd think it'd have to be stationary to fire its spore mines at least. Like this thing would be able to just like just weave all over the back line. Just you know, yeah. I mean, Space Marine 2 needs some love. It does get a bit samey after a while. There's no two ways about it. It's because the mission is the same every time. So when you do the operation, it's the same. All you can do is bump the difficulty up.
Yep.
And once you've got the relic weapons, you are sitting there like, well, what do I need this stuff for? You know, they've put some achievements in it for unlocking stuff in the vault, which is it's a cool move. And horde mode is something that they are working on right now, and they've bumped it up because they realise that they need to make some changes.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think. The best way I can describe it, it might be different if you play PvP, but I don't because I just don't want to play with randoms. I don't generally play, versus deathmatch or anything like that. My days of doing that and doing things like Call of Duty back in the day are well gone. And I gave up pretty much when people just started hacking the game and they were skating around with missile launchers. And I was just like, well, it's no fun playing it anymore. And I don't know if Space Marine is like that or not. I haven't played it. I've only played the operations and the campaign, and it's good enough. And as I say, those 20, however long it takes you to get a bit bored and a bit jaded on it because you've seen it all before, that time will be absolutely fantastic. But when that moment hits you, there is no denying it.
Yeah.
You do just go, oh, we've played this one 20 times. We've played this one 15 times. We've played this one. You're waiting for those new operations and stuff.
It doesn't help that Helldivers 2 got a massive update.
Yes.
Just around about the same time that we were kind of like, we've done this quite a lot now.
Yeah, exactly. And I have to say, like, Helldivers was a breath of fresh air to me because it is exciting every single time.
For democracy, yeah.
You've got a variety of different missions to do. It's never quite going to be the same twice. You have that awesome evac scenario. It really mixes it up with the scenarios. You've got the one where you've got to defend. You've got the one with the gates. That's great. You've got to get soil samples, raise the flags, and all. There's loads of different variety, plenty of different weapons and stratagems to mix it all up. And I understand that because of the law, GW can't necessarily do that. And I get that. Yeah. But Helldivers is the kind of game that I would always be like, I'm up for playing that. Space Marine 2, I'd play it and I'd have fun with it, but it does get tired. It does, get a little bit samey after a while, which is a shame because Sabre have done great work.
Oh yeah, yeah.
It's just the game it is, and it was delayed loads of times, and it's polished as fuck, and it's great, and there's hardly any glitches, and it is genuinely a load of fun. But it just needs that little bit more content. I'm hoping that Horde mode will be the thing that will get us back into it for months at a time.
Yeah, hopefully we'll see how it goes.
We'll just have to wait and see, really. Cool. So that was your number 2.
What's your number 2?
My number 2 is also Space Marine 2.
I thought
I did think about putting Space Marine 1 in there because I actually have a lot more fond memories of playing Space Marine 1. Because I did used to play that a lot in PvP back in the day, because that's like 12 years old now. And I had a lot of fun with it, and I had a lot of fun. They put a Dreadnought mode into it, it was fun. And I really loved the campaign. I think the campaign might be a little bit better in number 1. But I did go back and play it recently, and there is some serious jank to that game.
Yeah, well, the thing is, we're used to more polished games now, isn't it?
Yeah. So a little bit of it was rose tinted goggles, I think. Because I went back and played it, and I was like, oh man, this is actually pretty rough. Like, it's really obviously signposted, and I don't think the controls are quite as good. It took me quite a long time to get used to the way to play it. And you haven't got like all the really cool stuff that you can do in Space Marine 2. So I do think that Space Marine 2 is the better iteration and edges it. despite its faults. But I did think about putting Space Marine 1 in there because I did genuinely really love Space Marine 1. And I do think the story is better in Space Marine 1 as well.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's just the time it was, wasn't it? Like, it's the first Space Marine game. You'd never really had a Marine.
Yeah, no, I really like the fact that it was on Greer, and you had all this, like, it's a Forge world, and you had all this stuff to do, rather than splitting the narrative across all these different planets and stuff. But I think it has to go to Space Marine 2 overall. But definitely an honourable mention to Space Marine 1, which was also an awesome game, and I spent a hell of a lot of time playing it. Yeah. And really enjoyed it. I'd love to see a Space Marine 1 remaster done like Space Marine 2, but I think the team is probably busy doing other things at the moment.
I mean, I don't think Relic are ever going to do anything ever again.
No.
Actually, I don't know.
No, but I meant the team who's doing Space Marine 2, because they'd be the people who'd do it, I would imagine.
Yeah, but I think they're just busy doing Space Marine 2 now.
Well, yeah, and Space Marine 3. So, because we need to get those Necrons in eventually. And I think the Necrons could be a really good thing to add to it, because it'd make it like a zombie shooter.
They should be in an expansion.
Yeah.
That'd be great.
They make it into a zombie shooter, and that'd be great. You shoot zombies down, they get back up again, and you have their supports and stuff like that.
Chumbawamba robots.
I think it could be, I think it could be potentially more interesting than Tyranids. I really do. So that could be, that'd be one of my number one things to add to the game, or one of my please make that games that we were going to do in the future videos. So I think we've both got the same number one.
Oh, I think so as well.
And that would be Dawn of War.
Definitely. 100%. Including all the expansions. I loved them all.
Yeah, I didn't like Soulstorm.
I did, because you put my towel in it, and I was very pleased.
But I liked every other single one. Yeah, it was a cheaty little game at times.
Oh yes.
But it's a classic. It is a classic you just can't go wrong with. So much fun sending those dreadnoughts off, and the things they say and stuff like that.
Oh, in Dawn of War, the Terminators, still the best voiced Terminators that I could think of. Like they've got, like, you listen to a Marine and there's like a bit of radio distortion where they're speaking over the comms, and then Terminators, for no reason whatsoever, it's like that, but deep.
Yeah.
Deep.
It was like when the Imperial Guard turned up in, what was it, Winter War?
Winter Assault.
And they all sound like extras from EastEnders.
They do, yeah. From the Emperor's mouth to my ears, sir. Fantastic. But the engine seer that they get is me and Northern Pete still quote him to each other to this day. And it's kind of like, a challenge worthy of my skills. I'm like, look, let's go. Disabled beast shall get us there.
I love the Dreadnought. Die when he's spinning the orc on his his power fist.
On his fist.
Yeah. Dawn of War, just a classic in it. The campaign was awesome with the Eldar and the orcs and Chaos. Multiplayer is so much fun, especially if you've got all those extra races added into it. It had 3 expansions. Winter Assault. The one I can never remember in the middle with Necrons.
Winter Assault. There was Soulstorm and I can't remember either now. My brain.
Yeah. Our poor old brains. But anyway, there were 3 expansions. They each added extra races and stuff.
Dark Crusade.
Dark Crusade. That's it. Yes. And barrels of fun. Again, dirt cheap on Steam. You can probably get the whole thing for like 10 quid.
Well worth it. Oh yeah, and the Dawn of War 2 expansion with the Inquisitor stuff in it was Retribution.
Yes, which I do also had. Yeah, it was a Chaos Rising and then Retribution, but I didn't play Retribution. I need to. I'm pretty sure that's all going to play on my laptop. I'm going to probably have to play that at some point.
Yep.
Put the Switch down for 5 minutes. But I mean, Dawn of War, just an absolute classic. And then Dawn of War 2 was different, but lots of fun. And then I never played Dawn of 3, but I heard it was shit.
Dawn of War 3 was okay-ish, because in multiplayer you could turn off most of the new shit that they put in it.
Right, okay.
Like the new ways of playing, but they tried to make it into like Dawn of War combined with a MOBA game.
Oh.
where you had everyone use of attack, and you had to kind of secure them with like commanders and shit. And it was just like, no, what you really should have just done was just done the first game again, just with a much more modern engine.
Yeah, just add the new units and races. And I mean, if they were ever to make a Dawn of War game now, they've got like 30 fucking factions to put into it.
Yeah, I think the team that did it is well in the bin, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Like, you know,
well, Relic did actually put up an announcement recently, or not Relic, but Sega. Was it? It was a Sega thing, wasn't it?
Yeah, Sega have the rights now. Yeah, THQ folded, and I think Relic and most of the rights for the games that they did got bought by Sega.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
They did put up a post recently saying that they were remastering some old IPs. Fuck's sake.
Jesus.
You can tell that my social battery's been destroyed today by being at Warhammer World and practically falling asleep. Some remastering some old IPs, and I'm kind of hoping that Dawn of War might be one of those, to be honest.
Yeah,
that would be fun. Hope. So that'd be really nice. So that's our top 5 video games, Warhammer wise. You grognards, let us know what you think. I mean, there's loads more. I mean, we probably could have done a top 10, but I just figured we keep it to 5 for now. Because I want to do deep dives into eras of Warhammer games. So I want to do like 1990s to 2000s.
Yeah.
2000s to 2010s, 2010s to 2020s, around about those brackets. I might change them a little bit because obviously we're only on 2025 now. But there are so many. I mean, I remember one old game that I used to love on the Xbox called
Kill Team?
No. Actually, no, I think it might have been Kill Team.
Yeah, I think you're thinking of Kill Team with the running around and the aiming with the sticks and shit.
That's the one. Yeah, it's like a twin stick shooter. Can't get it anymore. It's gone.
Sucks. That was great.
You know, and even some of the mobile games were really good. Like the Warhammer Quest mobile game was great, but now you can't get it anymore. They've updated it to be Silver Tower, and it's crap.
That got an honourable mention on my honourable mentions list. So that did a few other things that got an honourable mention was Inquisitor. Because it literally is like a 40k Diablo.
It was 4K Diablo. It got very, very samey real quick.
It did.
Because you go to planets. You could tell there was only a few templates of planets, and real soon you just got the same stuff over and over again. I was just like, but it was fun as a 40k Diablo. Definitely.
Yeah. I think they got the feel right. And the first time that a Plague Marine turns up and it's literally like twice the size of your guy, and it's just what the actual.
Yeah, it was fun. I mean, I'd definitely pick up Martyr again. To be honest, it was fun.
Yeah, Shooter's Blood and Teeth was great fun.
I got on with it up until there was a boss I couldn't kill, and I just gave up again. I was just like, fuck it.
The sense of humour proper made me laugh.
Yeah, it's fun. It's very, 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 very orky.
Yeah,
very
when the boss nicks his hair squig and kicks him out the bomber, he's like, yeah, thanks, bye. Dawn of War 2's on there. Tacticus must get a mention the amount of time we sink into that game.
Yes, ridiculously addictive, ridiculously grindy, but a very good strategic game.
Good fun. Underworld's got a mention, should get a mention, because I thought it was a very faithful recreation of the tabletop game, but unfortunately they just kind of fell off a cliff and stopped supporting it in like mid 2023.
Okay, I never played the Underworld's computer game.
It's pretty much a very faithful recreation of the tabletop game. You just played it against an AI or other opponents, and I like the AI.
Okay,
so so that was cool. Fire Warrior must also get a mention.
Good little Fire Warrior back in the day, PS2 game.
Was okay as well. Yeah, the novel was okay.
Did its best. Novel was okay. Yeah. What I really liked about Fire Warrior was it really made you feel like you was in the middle of the war. You had like shells going off all around you and kind of stuff, and that's another one that would look really nice with a remaster or something. Yeah,
and if I remember correctly, you ended up looting a bolt gun, and every time you fired it, it sent you backwards a little bit because it was just so big.
It sounds about right. I can't remember last time I played that game. Jesus.
Yeah, it's been a very long time. What else was there? The other two were Gladius, because everyone loves Civilization, but 40k, but without the diplomacy and just more killing.
just the murder.
But again, it's one of those games that needed a bit more polish.
I got fed up with Gladius when I got to the stage where the only way I could really win was by moving land speeders, and it just took so long to get troops where I needed them to be, and I just got fed up. I was like, no, fuck it, I can't be asked.
I gotcha. I know the feeling, and I think Eternal Crusade needed a mention as well, because
was that the MMO 40k one?
Not quite an MMO. It was more kind of like a Battlefield kind of a 40k sort of thing, but that's being very generous
Okay.
to Eternal Crusade. I think it had a pretty shit launch with not enough content and few too many bugs, and it never really recovered.
Gotcha,
which is a shame
yeah.
because it could have been great.
If you stumble out of the gate, and the thing is, especially with those online multiplayer games, if you don't have the player count, your game's dead.
Yeah, exactly. People will just go back to stuff that they know that's more fun.
Yeah, exactly. No, that's just pretty cool. I mean, my honourable mentions would be, on top of that, the as I say, the Warhammer Quest mobile game was brilliant, absolutely brilliant. It was just a game put onto a digital format. I was just like, this is fantastic.
Yeah. That was one of mine as well.
I would also have to give a shout out to Blood Bowl 2. Despite the cheaty AI, it is a faithful recreation.
It is, yeah. People
Bowl.
seem to prefer it over Blood Bowl 3, which is bonkers, but I've not really played Blood Bowl 3.
Apparently Blood Bowl 3 is not good. It's not good at all. I've not played it. I don't know. I might grab it on a sale if it ever gets to one sort of thing.
How'd you fuck that up? Like, surely it's just like Blood Bowl 2, but with better graphics, right?
Yeah, I mean, as you correctly say, how do you fuck it up? You know, I mean, it shouldn't be that difficult at all, to be honest. And then another one that I would give the honourable mention to would be one that I have literally just fucking forgotten. Darktide. You said Vermintide. I quite enjoyed Darktide as well. I thought Darktide was good.
Darktide was good.
My main complaint about Darktide is that you can't play it on your own.
Yes,
which
kind of
sucks balls. Because if you could, and I could put the time into it that I'd like to put into it, I suspect it might have crept towards the top 5. I don't know if it would have got in there, but it might have crept towards it. But the fact that you have to play with somebody, so basically you either play with a rando or you don't play, unless you know, because obviously you guys have been playing it for ages. I've only just got into it, and you know, you guys might be a bit bored of it, and I'm like, no, I've enjoyed playing this, but that'd be another one that would get an honourable mention for me. And that's probably about it, really, to be honest. I don't think there's anything else that's really worth mentioning. There's going to be a load of old games. There's going to be games that I've forgotten. I mean, God, if we are going good old games, there's probably loads of shit we've forgotten about. Games like Shadow the Horn Rat and that kind of stuff. But it's been so long that I'm like Gandalf in the Mines of Moria. You know, I have no memory of this place. I just don't remember at all. But guys, let us know. Let us know what you think games wise, what you put in there, what you think of our picks, and we'll be back to bother you with another episode of C.H.E.B.S soon.
Defo.
Bye.